I'm sick of worrying about which cars. I'm sick of worrying about the government. I can't eat. I'm broke, nigga. I'm broke. And you got the power to change that, Kev. Nobody else. You.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but isn't the whole 50 Cent and Big Meech drama getting more and more interesting by the day? It's like every time I check YouTube or Instagram, I can't help but come across new content about the situation, either from 50, Big Meech, Whack 100, The Game, and so on. Now, I won't lie, a part of me thinks this whole beef is just a way to promote the next season of BMF, because if you look at things historically, 50 has always been the type of guy to start a beef out of nowhere to push his brand. He's been doing this since Get Rich or Die Trying days. And I actually remember watching an interview with Chamillionaire where he mentioned that 50 tried to start a beef with him over nothing. However, Chamillionaire did not take the bait. So 50 later approached him like, yo, why didn't you take the bait? I gave you an alley-oop because as soon as you mention me, as soon as people realize you're not on the same page as me, guess what? Your face is going to be all over social media, all over the blogs, and now you've got newfound fame.
50 Cent had dissed me. I was thinking like, man, 50 was cool the whole time. Every time I saw him, what's wrong with him? So I was somewhere waiting for him, and I saw him walking in the hallway. And I looked, and he was about to walk past me. I grabbed him like, yo, what's up, man? Like, why you saying all this stuff? And he looked at me, and then he grabbed me and pulled me in the room. So everybody probably thought he was going to like hurt me or something, but he was like, listen, man, I threw you an alley-oop, and you didn't dunk it. What you talking about? He's like, listen, man, you a cool dude. You know we cool, but I said this about you. If you would have responded and said one thing, you ain't have to curse at me. You ain't have to say nothing. You could have said, 50 Cent needs to shut the hell up. And he said, if you would have said that, there's a train right now, and that train is in India. When you get on that train and you sit on that seat, in the back of the seat, there's a newspaper. And you take that newspaper out and you look at it, you would have been on the front page of that newspaper if you would have said that back to me. Because I'm the biggest. Your real life starts when your rap career ends.
So is it too far-fetched to think that this whole thing is a huge publicity stunt? I don't think so, but it might not be. And if it's not, then that means that Big Meech fumbled the bag heavily. Now, one thing Whack 100 said in one of his interviews is that Big Meech could have used 50 Cent to make millions and millions of dollars. Because if you think about it, the BMF TV show focuses on Big Meech's rise to fame before prison. So far, we've seen a couple of seasons of that, right? But according to Whack 100, if Big Meech had been smart about the whole situation and not done business with Rick Ross, 50 could have turned Meech's lifestyle in prison into another TV series. And honestly, when Whack said that, I was like, yo, that actually makes a lot of sense. And even if 50 Cent did not decide to do that, he could have done something else with Little Meech. But because Big Meech decided to do business with Rick Ross, a guy that 50 Cent hates to his core, there's a chance that both Big Meech and Little Meech missed out on millions. I mean, if you think about it, what is Rick Ross really going to do for Big Meech besides throw him a concert, right? When Rick Ross decided to throw a concert for Big Meech, everybody was talking about it. People were buying tickets left and right. Meech even did a video with Rick Ross hyping it up, talking about how Sexy Red was going to be there and how many big names like Lil Baby were going to be there. But look what happened. At the last minute, the whole concert got cancelled. And guess who ended up looking like a fool in the situation? Big Meech, not Rick Ross. Because at this point, Rick Ross is already solidified. He doesn't need another concert to make his money. He can do that with or without Big Meech's name. But in this situation, it seems like Meech is the one who needed Rick Ross.
Y'all know what's going down today. That Big Meech concert going down now. Trying to decide how we gonna roll at this Meech concert tonight. 2 lambs, 4 Raris, 5 double R's, something like that.
The craziest part, a lot of people actually made plans to attend the concert. People were flying down, booking hotels, making arrangements, only to get screwed over at the last minute. Royally. Like, I would be upset. I mean, I would be really upset.
Biggest boss Ricky Rose just got word. Meech concert not happening tonight, but 3:05 is going down at the office. Meet us there. Bam!
And the only person who's laughing about this whole thing is 50. Now, some people believe that the reason why the show got cancelled is because 50 had something to do about that, and he used his reach in the industry to shut down the whole thing. And honestly, that's not too far-fetched. I can definitely see 50 doing something like that because he is the king of petty. But there's also another reason why some people think the concert got cancelled, and that's because Big Meech is not allowed to be outside past 6 p.m. due to the terms of his prison release. To me, both versions of events make sense, but at the end of the day, what really matters is that Big Meech fumbled the bag hard. There's no doubt about that. 50 even posted to Instagram saying, "See Mimi, your daddy out of touch. He think he the Black Pablo Escobar. He f***ing up your whole shit." He also said, "I don't know Mimi. I've been like this forever. Niggas rub me the wrong way, then I get crazy." Now, speaking of being petty, it looks like 50 Cent and Joe Budden are going at it on social media, and it all began after Irv passed away. I won't lie, the first time I heard about his passing, I thought it was some kind of joke, right? From the outside looking in, it seemed like Irv was doing fine health-wise. I mean, he did mention that his health was declining on Drink Champs, but I personally thought it was one of those things that he would overcome. However, unfortunately, that was not God's plan. So while I was shocked and bothered by Irv Gotti's passing, there was one person who seemed very happy with it. 50. 50 posted an image of himself on social media, smoking hookah, and the caption read, "I'm smoking on that Gotti pack. Nah, God bless him, LOL." Now this reminds me of the same time that Gucci Mane did the same thing to Jeezy's friend. Now with Gucci and Jeezy, their situation was literally life or death. Jeezy had sent a man to unalive Gucci. So at that point, it's either Jeezy was going to take Gucci out, or Gucci was going to take Jeezy out. So during their versus battle, Gucci said something along the lines of, "I'm smoking on Pookie Loke," rubbing it in Jeezy's face, because Gucci actually unalived Jeezy's friend and beat the charges because it was self-defense. So in that situation, I understand why Gucci said it. But in this situation, it also makes sense.
I was young, but I did some things that's fucked up, dead wrong to people. And everybody in the neighborhood know that, so ain't no going around that.
Even with the murder, even though it was self-defense, do you ever think about that? And you think like maybe I could have handled that different, especially when you did like the diss record?
He needed to be in the ground. I put his ass where he supposed to be. He tried me.
That's the old Gucci still there.
Nah, that's the truth, man.
Yeah.
You know, if somebody comes to you try to kill you,
Yeah.
you know, and self-defense. So if somebody try to kill you, you know, you gotta do what you gotta do.
You gotta do, absolutely.
Now, if you've been paying attention to 50's history, and if you've watched a lot of my videos, then you probably know that Irv Gotti was heavily tied to a drug kingpin named Supreme Griff. Irv, Ja Rule, and Supreme were occasionally doing business together, all while knowing that Supreme was deeply tied to the streets and was responsible for ending the lives of a lot of people. Like Supreme used to take out people like he was going out on dates. Now, as most of you already know, Supreme allegedly put out a hit on 50 around the year 2000, and that was supposedly because of the song Ghetto Quran, where 50 name-dropped Supreme. I mean, Supreme was heavily involved in the drug game, and putting his name out on a record was not a good look for him. So because of that, he took it as a sign of disrespect and considered 50 a rat, which eventually led to him putting out a hit on 50. So their situation was real, life or death. Now, there's another theory out there that Irv Gotti and Murder Inc. actually told Supreme to take out 50. Now, if you think about it, at the time, 50 and Ja Rule were deep in their beef. And back then, it looked like the only way this would end was one of them was going to end up unalived. So do I think Irv could have put out a hit on 50? Yes. But at the same time, that information is not fully verified, so I can't say for sure if it actually happened. But it does make a lot of sense. So when 50 posted an image of himself on social media mocking the death of Irv Gotti, I kinda see where he's coming from. I mean, why would you try to forgive a guy that tried to have you unalived? I mean, if someone tried to take me out, I'm sorry. We're never going to be friends. We are never going to be cordial. You're going to be my enemy for life.
Who saved him? People be like, God. Your first thing is, yo, God saved this guy. Maybe the devil, maybe Satan saved him. because he's a great engine of chaos. I don't think God would save somebody who moves like that. I don't think God would save somebody who disrespects his own family and is just everything you think of 50 is just negative. He's just an engine of negativity, beef, chaos. Sounds like he's with Satan to me, man. I think, Satan was like, I'm gonna use you. You're gonna be great for me.
So I get where 50 is coming from. But Joe Budden? Joe thought that 50 was being childish and should have let bygones be bygones. In fact, Joe said that 50 needs therapy. Okay.
50 Cent needs therapy. I don't care if you agree with the rationale.
Yeah.
And 50's 50, he gonna stand in it. He gonna stand strong in it.
He is. I look at it from both sides of the coin.
And if 50 feel like that, then go smoke a cigar in the cigar room. Publicly saying, damn, I want him to see my new shows. I think it's wrong.
So what did Mr. Petty do, or should I say 50 Cent do in response? He went on social media to make fun of Joe Budden for walking around his complex butt naked. Now if you don't know, around December of 2024, Joe Budden was spotted by his neighbor butt naked outside his apartment. Video footage shows Joe Budden trying to input codes on his neighbor's door, but when he couldn't get in, he just turned around and walked back to his own apartment, still completely naked. Now, according to Joe, the whole thing happened because he was sleepwalking. He claims he has a long history of sleepwalking, and this was just another incident for him. However, his neighbors were not too happy about that. Now, the thing is, Joe and his neighbors were never on good terms to begin with. I mean, back when Joe used to film his podcasts at home, he would have Rory and Mal over. But the problem is, we all know how Joe gets. He gets loud, sometimes obnoxious, and his neighbors took issue with that. So their relationship was already strained from the jump. So when Joe ended up outside naked, his neighbors were like, okay, we've had enough of this guy. He's loud, he's out of control, and now he's streaking outside of our apartment? What the hell? Now, do I believe Joe was really sleepwalking? No. Maybe I'm just biased, but I've never met anybody in real life who actually sleepwalks, especially while naked. And the thing is, if Joe was sleepwalking while naked, that means he goes to bed in commando, right? And that's something I don't really want to think about because I don't need those images in my head. I don't want that image in my head, sorry. But according to Joe, that's exactly what happened. And this is what he said about the matter. I just sleepwalked somewhere that I shouldn't have sleepwalked. You know how I sleep, butt ass naked. Like I said, I don't buy it. But according to Joe, that's exactly what happened. So what does 50 do in response? He posts images or memes of Joe walking around butt naked or wearing a diaper. And the captions read, Joe, where the f is you going? The Diamond Club is in the Bronx. You shut the f out, boy. And the next one goes, the f is you doing over there naked, Joe? How you open a damn door if you sleep, fool? Nah, f all that. You try it again, perv. Now, I don't know what Joe was trying to achieve by talking about 50 on his platform, because judging from past observations, I can tell you one thing. Whenever someone mentions 50's name in a negative light, that person automatically becomes an enemy of his. And sometimes it's all jokes. Sometimes 50 is just having fun with it, and he clowns whoever has a problem with him. But from what I can tell, he's not the type of guy that you want to start any type of social interaction with. Because if you have an issue with him one time, he'll hold onto that stuff forever, man. I mean, we saw this happen to Young Buck. To this day, 50 is still making fun of Young Buck for allegedly sleeping with a transgender woman, even though the situation happened years ago. And the thing is, most people have forgotten about it, but because 50 keeps bringing it up, it's like we can't forget it. And every time Young Buck tries to make some sort of comeback, every time he tries to get his career back on track, 50 is right there to remind everybody about the allegations. And because of that, it has really hurt Young Buck's brand. At this point, it seems like the only way Young Buck can recover from this is if he somehow apologizes to 50 and begs his forgiveness. So with that being said, it's very likely that 50 and Joe Budden are going to go back and forth for a very long time. And honestly, I wouldn't even call it a beef, because that would imply that there's real issues there. Let's just say that chances are that 50 is not gonna stop clowning Joe Budden every single time Joe does something stupid. Now, as for Big Meech, Little Meech, and the BMF TV show, I still think this whole thing is gonna blow over. I could be wrong and maybe I'm in the minority here, but still, doesn't this drama make you wanna watch BMF all over again? Right? I know I do. And if Little Meech, Big Meech, and 50 ever settle their differences, the first episode of the next season is probably gonna do some huge numbers, all thanks to the free publicity. But at the end of the day, I personally feel the most sorry for Little Meech, because he had nothing to do with this beef. He was simply minding his own business and doing what needed to be done to secure the bag. And from the looks of it, judging by him buying new chains, driving expensive cars, and living a new lifestyle, playing the role of Big Meech on BMF has completely changed his life. He went from being a struggling rapper and the son of Big Meech to becoming a household name in the urban community. And I say urban community because, honestly, I don't think he has fully crossed over yet into major films. And that's probably the next step for him, especially if he wants to make sure that his career is secure in the long run. Personally, I hope this whole thing gets resolved because I definitely want to see another season of BMF. And honestly, I would watch a show about Big Meech being in prison. That would be hella interesting. It would almost be in the same vein as the TV show Oz. So, at the end of the day, the only thing Big Meech needs to do is humble himself, apologize to 50, stop messing with Rick Ross, because Rick Ross is not gonna do anything for his career. Meech needs to stick with 50 because that's where the money's at. That's it for me. It's your boy Ali. What do you think about the whole situation? And I'm talking about Big Meech and 50 and Joe Budden. Let me know down below. Also add me on Instagram at Ali Talks Music. Till next time, peace.